And so we want the truth. That's what this generation wants. That's what's kind of leading this second American Revolution. And so to get the truth inside of, everything that you want to get to, we need to understand what the lies are. It's not enough to have the truth. You need to know what the lies are. You need to be able to dispense with either of these two things and kind of just go after it on face value. So what are some of the common lies that the Second American Revolution is dispensing with? One, since we're going to be focusing on America in this episode, one that I believed for a very long time, that I have been proven wrong upon, and I've had a lot of people help me understand why this is so. One of the common lies that I believe to be true, that's not true, is the phrase, America is an idea. Quote unquote, America is an idea. Now, I just said a couple minutes ago that America was founded on a set of ideas and a set of values. And that's true. But this is exactly what the people who have tried to destroy our culture have clung on to. It's one of the things that they have clung on to, and here's why. It is true that America is founded on a set of values, but it is not true that America by itself is an idea. So what does that mean? Even though America has a value system, the American way, the American dream, whatever you want to call it, America is a place. It's a physical country. It has cities and towns and mountains and rivers and oceans, and everything is with it. America is a place. And we have gotten away from saying that not only is America founded on a set of ideas, but it is not an idea. America is not a construct. America is a physical place. It is a country. This is why borders matter, by the way, which is why the invasion that we have seen inside of our country's borders for the last, decades now, but especially over the last 5 years, up until the new administration stopped it largely. This is why it was so destructive, by the way, if I'm going to tackle this hornet's nest, to topple some of our monuments and deface some of our monuments and take down statues. Because a culture cannot exist without guardrails. When you violate a value of a culture, if there is no punishment for violation of that value, then you don't have a culture. You just have a malleable kind of constructed, meshed in version of, whatever the case might be. And so the reason why borders matter, the reason why monuments standing up matter, is because those things are elements of our culture. If anybody can be a citizen of America, if anybody can apply for disability benefits, for example, or vote in elections, or or pay taxes, a lot of illegal immigrants do not pay taxes. Most of them don't. But if you want to participate in our democracy, you need to be a citizen of the country. If you are a member of the citizenry of France, you cannot come over here and vote in our elections. You just can't do that. Why? Because America is not, quote unquote, an idea. They cannot just imagine and take on the identity of an American. You need to be an American. This is why saying that, people, throwing things at statues of Robert E. Lee and Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln and all these other people that were, especially Confederate generals, even though were these men on the wrong side of the conflict? Yes. But in actuality, when you look at someone like Robert E. Lee, when you look at somebody like Stonewall Jackson, they were fighting for Virginia. By the way, especially in the case of Robert E. Lee, Abraham Lincoln wanted Robert E. Lee as his general. But Robert E. Lee, the only reason why he joined the Confederacy is because he was loyal to the state of Virginia, where he was from. Virginia was a slave state, obviously. They went toward that direction. And now people have decided that Robert E. Lee is this kind of monster and he needs to be destroyed because he fought for the Confederacy. And so why this, which is obviously ridiculous, and why this is turned into, what this has turned into, I should say, is a version of a social construct. So what the crazy people have done, what the leftists have done, and what the Jacobins have done, and this is particularly the case of the Jacobin left, is they have turned this America is an idea lie into a version of a social construct. They have made America a social construct where, hey, if you have a different quote-unquote idea of what America is, then that idea is fine. No, it's not fine, actually. It's not fine. And we need to be able to say that out loud, that it is not fine, that you can just say that America is something to you and not something to me, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No. America is a thing. It is a constant thing. And you could have different opinions about what goes on inside of our country, what goes on in terms of, our Constitution and our rule of law and things like that. But like, if you're able to remake America into whatever image that they want, which you can't do, but what has been forced upon us by, again, this Jacobin left primarily, is why they want to do this is because they do want to remake America into whatever image they want, because they want to achieve their twisted ambitions of what they want America to look like. They do not like America as it is. They want to remake it into their own, again, false utopian, sort of like wild Marxist, whatever sort of thing that you can do. But at the end of the day, it's hard to overstate just how misleading this is. Because, Tucker Carlson said this once, and it really stuck with me. If you truly love something, like think of something right now, if you're listening or watching this, that you really love, a person, a place, a thing, hopefully a person, at least maybe hopefully multiple people, that you really love. Think of that for a second. If you really love something, you do not want to fundamentally and systemically change that person. Now, will you challenge that person to be better? Yes. Will you hold them to a standard? Yes. If they fall below that standard, should you correct them? Absolutely, you should. But if you love something, you don't say, hey, I love you, but I want everything about you to change. It's like, no, you probably like that thing, that person, that whatever you imagined for who that person is. And you probably say like, hey, you got some flaws, but I got some flaws too. And and we can maybe work on some of those flaws, and I can maybe work on some of my flaws too if I'm even remotely self-aware. And, we can get better together, and we can hold each other to that standard. But our Jacobin class, this wild, insane class that wants to remake our country, they do want to fundamentally change and systemically change America, just like the French revolutionaries did. They want to topple everything. They want to get rid of all power structures. They did not love France, actually. They hated France. They hated the way that the French government was constituted, the French monarchy was constituted. So they got rid of it, and they killed everybody. So instead, if you love something, if you want to love it, if you want to care for it, if you want to make something flourish, and particularly a country, in this scenario, let's stick to America here, the plan should not be to give that country a facelift. It should not be to fundamentally remake America in your own image and play God with your country, to simply say what it is. And again, is America an idea in some regards? It is. It was founded on a set of principles, a set of values, a set of ideas. But if we're going to say America is an idea by itself, we are in a heap of trouble, like a heap of trouble. Because if we're going to change America by itself, if we're going to say America is an idea by itself, that, again, borders don't matter, an economy doesn't matter, a social fabric, a neighborhood, whatever does not matter, we're done. Like, we're just absolutely done. And I think that most will never say this out loud, but this is exactly what the left, the modern left, this kind of wild Jacobin left would like to happen. They want to destroy America. They want to destroy the country. They do. And if they don't say that out loud, they certainly won't, because that would be radical and wild. But when you look at their actions, when you look at moving the founding date of the country from 1776 to 1619, when you look at saying that George Washington was somehow an immoral and awful person, or that Abraham Lincoln was, or like Frederick Douglass was, or all of the, these historical titanic figures inside of America. Teddy Roosevelt was an awful person, whatever you want to say. They do not love the country. They do not love America. But yet, the ultimate self-own of all of this, the one that they cannot remove themselves from, is that America can accommodate that. America is so great that it can accommodate even those who hate its guts. We do not kill people that speak against the government, like a lot of governments in the world do, especially in the third world. We do not throw our political enemies, or we should not throw our political enemies in prison. We do not criminalize speech like they're doing in Britain and Germany right now. And what that shows, again, it's the brilliance of the founders. It's the brilliance of the people that ran this country for the longest period of time. And it shows how remarkable and how resilient that system of government is to outside tyranny, outside awfulness, outside all of these things. And the ability of a value system to endure, I think the greatest indicator of if your value system works is that if it can stand up to opposition, if it can accommodate opposition, if your values are so fragile that you feel the need to attack everyone over your values and say that, I cannot coexist with somebody else just because their values are different than mine, you probably need new values because your values are fragile and shallow and not strong. They're weak, actually. And values are a reflection of the person. So you're probably all those things too. So that is why America is not an idea, because America can stand up to even those who hate it, which is a remarkable achievement and something that we should be commending the founders and the leaders of our country historically for doing.